Among the stingrays, penguins, and visiting tourists here at the New England Aquarium, something a little, some might say, more fragrant is being stored and researched, and it's a key to further understanding the North Atlantic right whale.
We're at the very top of the New England Aquarium in a lab space that's dedicated to hormone research of marine wildlife. We're really interested in hormones, and hormones are expelled from the body in poop.
This science gives Dr. Elizabeth Burgess, a research scientist at the aquarium, the ability to understand the whale's reproductive patterns and overall health.
One of the really important pieces of science to come out of the lab here is information on ocean noise and human-generated underwater noise and how that impacts the whale. What we've found is that when human-generated underwater noise, so shipping noise, is reduced or removed, then whale stress levels decrease. So these animals are living in a modern ocean where it's very noisy. They're living with a heightened increase of stress hormones.
But how do these scientists collect the specimen from a 70-ton, 50-foot-long marine mammal? It's a process that requires a lot of patience.
Right whales have a very unique poop sample. Their poop is really bright orange. Not only does it have a very bright color, but their food source is really high in oils, so that poop sample tends to float at the surface. So when we're out on the water, patiently waiting, what we're looking for is bright orange globs of poop on the surface.
Once collected, the sample is immediately frozen and brought to the lab to be stored in a freezer at -80 degrees Celsius. The aquarium has been collecting for more than 20 years, building an archive of more than 400 fecal samples.
That is the real power of having a sample archive and preserving these samples through time, so that we can look back and take a look at the world then to what it is now and the changes that these animals are experiencing.
Those right whale samples are then turned from a frozen solid block into a powder.
What we'll do here in the lab is use a very sophisticated machine to keep the sample frozen but actually pull all the water out of the sample.
They add alcohol to draw the hormones out, creating an extract.
We've been able to develop a means of pregnancy diagnosis so we can know if whales are getting pregnant or not. Today we're going to run progesterone, which is a pregnancy hormone. So we're going to do a pregnancy test on a right whale.
The tiniest pipette drop giving researchers a wealth of knowledge when the whale is still alive. The hormone tests at the New England Aquarium reveal the whale's daily experiences.
Our job is to figure out why they're dying.
But down on Cape Cod, the International Fund for Animal Welfare, or IFAW, is unraveling the secrets hidden within a right whale's lifeless body through detailed examinations after death, or necropsies.
So a necropsy of a right whale is kind of an extraordinary event. So these animals are huge. Oftentimes they're sighted first at sea, floating at sea, when they're found dead.
Once a dead right whale is reported off the coast, veterinarian Sarah Sharp and her team gather the necessary tools to perform their task. From tow lines for hauling the whale in from sea, to large knives for cutting into the whale and taking various samples, to
the blubber hook, and we use it to hold on to the blubber. It's very oily, so it's hard to kind of get a good hold on, but these blubber hooks help us do so safely.
Each person and tool playing a pivotal role in examining every inch, internally and externally.
We look at basically everything that we can see on the external surface of the animal. We're looking for evidence of external trauma. And then we start cutting into the animal, and we kind of peel back each layer and look at all of the organs, and then we take samples in the field and send them out to various labs for different analyses.
These examinations take several days and are more than a post-mortem exam. They're a window into the complex lives of the right whale.
Over the past 3 decades, we have not documented a single right whale death from natural causes in adults or juvenile animals. So these animals are not dying from old age, they're dying prematurely, and they're dying from vessel strikes and entanglements in fishing gear.
Oh, the right whales. And back to the hormone lab at the New England Aquarium. They usually collect 5 or 6 fecal samples per year.
But their best collection time ever came when they brought in the experts.
Right.
They brought dogs, the scientists did,
boy.
on board with them, and those powerful sniffers were able to sniff out where the fecal matter was, and they had their best collection day ever. So a good tool for them. Good dog. Good dog.
All right, still ahead, the future of conservation.